Hey guys, what's up? It's Charlie here, and today we're going to be looking at 10 vehicles you won't believe actually exist. Some of the vehicles are ridiculous and you probably wouldn't want to drive them, but some of these are so cool and you'll be wishing you had one. And I'm even going to include some videos of the vehicles. Please drop a like if you enjoy. Let's aim for 4,000 likes on this video because it really does help me out. So coming in at number 10 we have Bigfoot. So as our name kinda suggests, this is the biggest car ever made. In fact, it's more of a monster truck than anything else. Believe it or not, the Bigfoot is actually pretty old considering it's got some really high-tech stuff in it. It was actually made in 1986 by a guy named Bob Chandler who worked as a construction worker. That's right, he wasn't even some kind of car maker or whatever. Bob said he originally just wanted a really rugged 4x4, but then he didn't want to stop building. Wow, he went way overboard. The full name for the vehicle is actually the Bigfoot 5 because there's been 5 versions. This is the first ever version of the Bigfoot and it's a car that Bob used for his construction work. How the fuck did this turn into this? And if you guys want some kind of scale, here's a photo of Bob Chandler's grandson next to the truck. Yeah, don't even ask me how he got up there. Come to think of it, how do you even get into the car? Huh, that's how. Anyway, here's some video clips of the Bigfoot 5 smashing some shit up. So coming up next is Future Skateboard. Now if you guys like all of these future vehicles that seem to be coming out recently, then you're gonna love this one. In 2015, a company called Hamachi Shima bought out this product called the Sidewing Circular Skateboard. Not a very catchy name, but it is a pretty cool and weird product. And even though it has skateboard in the name, these aren't much like skateboards at all. They're 2 10-inch wheels which weigh 5 pounds. And what's good about that is that unlike a skateboard, you can ride over grass and other stuff and basically go off-roading. These are also really good for travel because they're so small. The downside is that these are apparently really hard to ride, and you need a ton of practice before you can do any cool shit. But luckily they do make this stick thing which attaches the 2 circles together if you've got bad balance. Even so, this is pretty cool. I mean, I'd probably feel like some sort of alien or some shit riding around on these. But anyway, here's a few clips of people who are really good at riding these. So coming up next is World's Longest Limo. Now this one has to be the most over-the-top and eccentric vehicle on this entire list. So in the 1960s, when really tacky limos were popular in Hollywood, this guy called Jay Ohrberg decided to make the longest limousine ever. The thing was over 100 feet long. To put that into perspective, that's the same size as this aeroplane right here. The limo is so pimped out, it's got a bar inside and loads of seats, and it even has a helipad and an area for boats. You guys probably get why I called it the most eccentric vehicle ever earlier. The limo was made by welding tons of different cars together, which today would be seen as really dangerous and also really illegal, well, at least in the UK. But back then, this thing was fucking amazing and it got Jay pretty famous in Hollywood for it. Would you guys want to drive around in this if you were a celebrity? Or maybe if you are a celebrity? I know you're watching this, Snooki.
I actually named his penis Moby Dick.
Anyway, this is definitely one of the craziest vehicles I've ever seen. So coming up next is the Peel 50. Now this one is pretty much the complete opposite to the vehicle before. The only thing that's the same about the two cars is that they're both really weird. This one is strange, but it's probably the least cool car on this entire list. The Peel 50 is the world's smallest car. It's only 134 centimeters long and 99 centimeters wide and weighs just under 60 kilograms. They were made from 1963 to 1964, so obviously it wasn't very popular. And the company sold the cars for under $2,000. So they must not be making much money. But nowadays, because they're semi-rare and kind of a gimmicky thing, they're sold for up to $50,000. A few people actually own these in London where I live because it's easy to get around the traffic. And if you live in an area with really shitty parking, then this works great. Another good thing about these is that you can actually drive them on the sidewalk, which is pretty useful. So yeah, this is useful, but I'd feel like a clown driving around in one of these. Also, the name Peel sucks. But anyway, here's a few clips of the car. So coming up next is the Thrust SSC. Now when I say world's fastest car, you probably think of the Bugatti Veyron or some Formula 1 racing car. But not too many people know that in 1997, a British guy named Richard Noble made the world's fastest car. That's right, the Thrust SSC is the world's fastest car. It's powered by two 25,000-pound Rolls-Royce turbojet engines, and it weighs an insane 10 tons, which is equal to 5 elephants. Damn, those must have been some really powerful engines to make what is technically this go at 763 miles per hour, or 1,228 kilometers an hour if you're on the Imperial system. Or is it the metric system? I don't fucking know. Anyway, that crazy speed was achieved by this car in 1997 in the Nevada desert. And what's fucking insane about this one is it actually broke the light barrier, which means it went faster than the speed of light itself. I had no idea this existed before making this video, so my mind is blown. Here's a few clips of the car. So coming up next is Cupcake Car. Now this looks like some kind of bad made up invention by a mum on Pinterest, but this is actually a real thing. It was sold in this thing called the Neiman Marcus Christmas Book, which is basically like those old Christmas toy catalogs but for adults with a shitload of money, and they actually sell things which cost up to $20 million. But anyway, in 2015 they sold a bunch of these really stupid but also really expensive cupcake cars. These cars go at a maximum of 7 miles per hour and it only has one seat. But even though it's the most pointless and terrible looking vehicle, it costs $25,000. You could get something seriously nice for that. And if you guys are thinking, well, they just made them for show, nobody actually bought them. Well, no, a bunch of people actually bought these and they ran out of stock before Christmas Day. But hey, here's some videos of people driving these around. Next up is Sexy Bike. It's a photo that's gone super viral of this guy's bike. Basically, this guy got the body of a woman custom built onto his bike. Now, I don't know if he went to the perverted Portuguese version of Los Santos Customs or what, but I have to admit they did do a really good job. I mean, that model almost looks kinda lifelike. I'm pretty sure this guy calls it the Triggermobile because it's pretty much the best way to piss off a feminist.
I get dressed in the morning, I'm triggered. I take a shower, I'm triggered. I get in the car,
But seriously, I wouldn't want to have this because I don't want to get stopped by the police every single time I drive it. And what if you have a job interview and you show up in something like this? You know what I like is the fact that this is probably the least tasteful thing I've ever seen, but for some reason the naked model is covering up her boobs, as if that's their limit or something. Anyway, this one is definitely strange. So coming up next is the Dream Car 123. So this car is as close to a spaceship as you're gonna get. It was built by a guy named Greg Zanis in the 1980s who wanted to make the most fuel efficient and safe car. The car's outside is made with bulletproof glass and the entire vehicle is lined with bubble wrap. That's right, fucking bubble wrap. Anyway, the bottom is all steel and there's 4 motors, one for each wheel, which are powered by 80 different electric batteries. Obviously now we have electric car engines, but they didn't have them back then. The car is mostly built with parts of Greg's 1927 Cadillac and other parts of cars he's found. You drive it with a joystick, which is actually really handy because you can turn without even moving where you are. And if that's not alien enough for you, it even lights up red at night. The only downside to the car is that you can only go at 40 miles an hour, meaning you can't take it too far. It cost Greg $24,000 to make it, but he says one day he wants to mass produce them and sell them for $21,000 each. Who knows, maybe one day we'll all be wanting one of these. Here's a few clips of the Dream Car 123. So coming up next is the Flatmobile. As you guys can probably guess from the name, this is the world's lowest car and it measures up only 2 inches above the ground. To me it looks like a crap version of the Batmobile, but then again this thing is probably just as powerful as a Batmobile because it has a jet engine inside it. That's right, this is the exhaust it needs for its insane jet engine. But then again, for some reason it can only go at a max speed of 70 miles an hour even though it has a jet engine inside it. The car has really nasty metal seats and a really tiny steering wheel, and instead of gears it has these little dials to increase speed. But this car's actually pretty cheap cheap if you guys want to buy it. In fact, if you guys live in the UK, there's one up for auction right now for only $9,000. This car got really famous from a bunch of different car shows and documentaries, and it was even an Easter egg on the video game Flat Out 2. Here's a few video clips of the world's flattest car. Coming up last on this list is the Water Car Python. Now this one is really special because it can turn from a car into a boat in just 15 seconds. This car has a way better speed than the Flatmobile. It can go at 80 miles an hour on land and 45 miles an hour on the water. The car's made by a company called Watercar, which has made millions from selling these cars. And apparently loads of celebrities and billionaires have these cars, and even the Prince of Dubai apparently owns a few of them. But there have been some problems with people driving these cars on the beaches and going into the water and almost hitting people. That sounds like some shit off GTA 5. But if you guys want to play GTA 5 in real life, I hope you're really rich, because these things cost $170,000 and an extra $50,000 to install it. Surely the installation should be free if you're paying almost $200,000 for a car. So yeah, it's a choice between this or this. Well, I think it's safe to say which one's more fun, but if you have that kind of money, fuck it, buy both. Here's some clips so you can see how fun the water car is. And that just about wraps up this video. Check out the poll in the top right corner and you guys can vote for the vehicle that shocked you the most. For me it's the Bigfoot, just because of how big that thing is. It looks photoshopped. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed, and if you haven't already, what are you waiting for? Subscribe.